Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're going to be talking about NFL power rankings and metric picks this week. As you may or may not know, each week I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, it will always be very fluid. But it's a great way to keep track of various team trends and let you guys know about little nuggets of data that could become bigger nuggets of data as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you are new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So just a recap of what happened last week. Based on all the data work that I did, I went 9-5. Which obviously wasn't the best. It wasn't as good as last week. Last week I only missed 2 picks for the most part last week. And I'll chalk it up to this. The loss, the mess up with New England Patriots versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't really view it as a mess up as much as the one thing I noticed in the data, which I even pointed out in the video itself, that I felt like the Patriots were going to win this game, was because of the field goal percentage. The Bucs were going into that game with a kicker and an extra point conversion percentage, which was way, way, way below average. We're talking, I think 21.80 was their field goal percentage score compared to every team since 1998. So that's just not getting it done. So from the get-go, I didn't feel very good about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game data-wise, just because of that issue of field goals, and ultimately that's what cost him the game. If Nick Folk makes those field goals, that could have been a completely different football game, but he didn't, and that was the result. Then of course you look at the Buffalo Bills Cincinnati Bengals game. I chalk that up to the fact that the Bengals are just evolving as an offense. Bill Lazor took over after they fired their offensive coordinator early in the season. So he's kind of putting his stamp on things, and he's really improved the offense. So a lot of the indicators showing that the Bengals were not the best offense have been slowly getting better and better and better each week, which is kind of what I think caught that particular pick off guard. Of course, the Lions and the Panthers. Unfortunately for the Lions, they just didn't get any turnovers in that particular game. It definitely was set up for the Lions to potentially win that game. They got close at the end to potentially sealing it out, but unfortunately they lost. Of course, Miami Dolphins versus Tennessee Titans. I told everybody in that video that if they don't start Marcus Mariota, then you should go with the Dolphins, because most of the data for the Titans is based on Marcus Mariota being the signal caller. And if you lose a crucial player, crucial, if you lose your quarterback going into a game, it changes the dynamics of everything. So even though, again, most of the data did favor the Tennessee Titans in that particular game, not by much, but both these teams are not the best. However, losing Mariota, I think, was a big thing, and I tried to tip you off to the fact that, hey, if Mariota isn't playing, then I'm pretty sure this might swing into the favor of the Dolphins just because of that issue, having to start Matt Castle. Of course, the Rams and Seahawks. I think the biggest thing that the data really didn't account for was how good that the Seattle Seahawks pass D was. Going into that game, the Seattle Seahawks had advantages when it came to completion percentage, ability to prevent first down, second downs, and third downs with the pass. Like, there was a lot of different advantages when it comes to the Seahawks pass D versus the Rams passing offense, which was kind of the biggest strength of this Rams team. The biggest strength of the Rams overall is their offense, so if you can slow that down, you have a chance to win. And that's pretty much what the Seahawks did. But 9-5 is not that bad, in my opinion. I think, I think the one pick in particular, the Dolphins versus Titans, I really don't have a way to account for losing a quarterback, but if you at least gave it to the Dolphins just because the Titans didn't have their quarterback, then that definitely would have been sort of a 10-4 kind of situation. But I really don't think it's that bad. I think overall the picks did pretty well. It's still relatively early in the season for picks, just to get that out, just to throw that out there. But yeah, so getting into this week. So this is the rankings for this week for all the teams, power rankings, if you will. It takes into account all these sort of different factors, and also it helps you keep track of these teams as well. So if you're curious about how your team is performing, whether it's with your defense, the total D score, for example, is the ability to prevent first downs as a defense. The total O score is the ability to create first downs with your offense. The total O/D is just a combination of that. Turnover percentage on offense, sack percentage, offensive score percentage, all that kind of stuff. And again, all terms are in the description. So if you're curious as to how your team is performing, what you're doing well, what you're not doing well, all that kind of stuff, you can look at it here. This is just a general ranking power. This is just a general power ranking that takes into account all the factors that I just mentioned, all the different sort of offensive scoring, defensive scoring, all that kind of stuff. So it just is a general ranking system. And since it's so early in the season that this will definitely change, but a common theme keeps coming up. The Kansas City Chiefs continue to be in the top 10. The Jacksonville Jaguars, despite what everybody thinks, continues to be in the top 10. The Pittsburgh Steelers continue to be in the top 10. The Lions have dropped a little bit. The Jets, crazy. It's crazy for me to say this, but the Jets have just been playing pretty decent football. I mean, there's no way around it. Like, you don't win that many football games, or I should say this: you don't win football games unless you're doing something right as a football team. So from that kind of perspective, I know a lot of people are going Jets, but they're doing enough good things to cause them to win football games in terms of their overall sort of scheme. And then, of course, the Packers. I know some people are going to go, why are the Rams ranked over the Seahawks? Again, it's not about individual matchups. It's about how these teams are performing on paper overall. But they're still pretty dang close, between the Rams and the Seahawks, of course, the Bills, the Redskins, the Falcons, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the Patriots continue to be pretty low just because of their defense. Their defense is pretty much the worst defense in the NFL right now, as of today. So, in terms of all the other sort of factors. So this is this kind of stuff. So let's get to the picks this week. So these are the picks this week, the metric picks for this week. We have the Eagles over the Panthers, Ravens over the Bears, Packers over the Vikings, Redskins over the 49ers, Lions over the Saints, Falcons over the Dolphins, Texans over the Browns, Jets over the Patriots. I know I'm probably going to get some funny comments for that. Seahawks over the Cardinals, Jaguars over the Rams, Raiders over the Chargers. Although, keep in mind, new quarterback in E.J. Manuel, it's a disaster zone right now with the Raiders. So a lot of the things that are keeping this up, that are keeping the Raiders over the Chargers, is things that were happening when Derek Carr was there. Derek Carr is not. I haven't read anything recently saying that he's going to start in this game, but most of the positives that are actually keeping the Raiders over the Chargers ain't there no more. Derek Carr isn't starting anymore, at least for the next couple weeks. So I would definitely say that that's more of a toss-up because of that factor. When I actually do the video for that, I'll actually get into some of that kind of stuff. Then, of course, we have the Kansas City Chiefs over the Steelers. There's a lot of other data that does favor the Chiefs in terms of special teams, in terms of a lot of different things, but I do think this is going to be a fun matchup to see how this actually turns up, since it does favor the Steelers. Then, of course, the Broncos over the Giants. I feel really bad for the Giants with all the injuries that they had to the wide receiver position. That's going to be interesting to see what happens. And, of course, the Titans over the Colts. Keep in mind that if Marcus Mariota isn't starting, that definitely changed the dynamics of that particular game. So, of course, this is the metric rankings and picks for this week. My name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at giraffecoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.